Good. So now we'll go on to our ranges of motion of the wrist and hand. We'll start out actively for everything. So we go flexion, extension, keep your arms neutral, supination, pronation, kind of keep your elbows at the same, and we'll go break it in for radial deviation, ulnar deviation, make a fist, finger flexion, finger extension, finger adduction, abduction, with our thumbs. Push it down for flexion, thumb extension, thumb abduction, adduction, and thumb opposition. Good. Now we'll go into passive ranges of motion. So just relax for all this. Go flexion, extension, getting the end feels for this. Supination, pronation, go ulnar deviation, radial deviation. We'll go finger flexion and finger extension. We will check all of those. With our thumb, getting this end feel, we'll go thumb flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and thumb opposition. Good. Now we'll go into all of our resistive. Yep. So hand on the table, flex your or extend your wrist up into my hand. Good. Now flex it down. Perfect. We'll go supination or pronation first. So you're gonna turn your arm over. Yep, into my hand. Good. Do it one more time. Good. We'll go the other way. It's just easier to show. So we're gonna supinate and go the other way this time. Good. Good. Ulnar and radial deviation. So I want you to push against my hand. Yep, good. Back against my hand again. Good. So we'll do the same thing as the wrist, but with the fingers now. I want you to push up, extend into my hand. Good. Flex down into it. Perfect. Spread your fingers a little bit. I'm going to put my fingers in between yours. I want you to squeeze my fingers. Now I'll take them out. Good. Finger abduction, adduction. Let me see your thumb. I want you to push down into my fingers. Good. Up into my fingers. Yep, thumb flexion and extension. Into my fingers again for abduction and into my thumb adduction. Good. Now I want you to put these together. Don't break it. Thumb opposition. Good. So that'd be all of our ranges of motion. Now we'll go into our special tests. And like you said, we don't have a tuning fork, but that would be one of the more useful things to use. First would be varus and valgus stress tests of the IP joint with the phalange. So we'll start with our varus, stabilizing that joint. And valgus, same thing for the wrist. We go varus and valgus, and same thing for the thumb. Varus and valgus. Now we'll go into our wrist gliding tests. Gliding test. Supporting the wrist here, and then we will slide the wrist back and forth, and then up and down. Intercarpal play test, finding the edges of these metacarpals, and then kind of pressing down on it and see if there's any gapping or movement. Checking those. Watson's, kind of palpate on the palmar side for that scaphoid, and then we'll deviate the wrist back and forth, feeling for any popping, clicking, moving. Now we'll go like Tinel's, like in the past. We're just going to kind of tap over this median nerve. Then we will go into balance. We're going to support the wrist and then push down. We would hold that for a minute. Good. Finkelstein's. I want you to flex your thumb down and then wrap your fingers around it, and then kind of ulnar deviate your wrists forward. And then we would be checking for pain along this. But like you said, that shows a lot of false positives. And last one would be the flexor digitorum. So we can check both the dips and the pips. So I want you to stabilize this. I want you to flex your index finger. Yep, good. Stabilize that, flex it again. Perfect. And then we can go through all those. And that would be all of our stress tests. So after that, we'll go into our neuro. So you can just kind of sit like here. Yeah, good. C5, C6, kind of keep arms like that. C6, C7 into the middle finger, and then C8 up into T1. That'll be all of our dermatomes. For myotomes, can you hold your arms up like this? Don't let me press down. C5, C6, flex your arms. Don't let me extend them. Good. Extend your wrist. Don't let me flex them. That would be C6. C7, extend your arms. Don't let me flex them. Good. Now flex your wrist. Don't let me extend them. C7. Just take your arms like this. Yeah, just like this. I'm gonna alter deviation. We already did this kind of. And something like that. Don't let me break it. Good. And then for T1, yep, spread your fingers. Don't let me push them together. Good. That would be all of our myotones. And lastly, we would do our reflexes. So in C5, we have the bicep right here. Good. C6, the brachioradialis. Yep. Boom. Don't have anything to do this with. And then C7, we have the tricep. It's not really a good angle, but tricep up here. That would be all of our neuro stuff. Circulatory, we are checking for the radial artery. Make sure that they have a pulse, which you're good. Capillary refill, we can check in the nail beds. Good as well. And skin temperature, check bilaterally the back of our hand. Good. When returning to activity, we want to make sure bilaterally they have full range of motion, equal strength compared bilaterally, pain-free movement with activity, and then some kind of activity that is sport or lifestyle related. And with referral, we would refer if we suspect a fracture or dislocation, if there's a gross deformity, continuous pain, significant loss of motion, joint instability, if there's an abnormal sensation that doesn't go away quickly, a weakened or lacking pulse distal to the point of injury, and lastly, if we are unsure of the severity of the injury, we would refer. And that's it.